Hi there, my name is Mrs. Robinson and I am Head of English for the primary school here at Horizon. The purpose of this video is to support you as parents and carers to better understand the expectations that we have here at Horizon in writing and how we support children to meet the expectations of the British curriculum. Feel free to pause the video at this stage just to read through what we aim to do here at Horizon in terms of English. But I'm going to take you through year by year what is expected of a child in that year group at this point in the year in a way that is hopefully clear. Please note that the judgments have been made by class teachers as a team and they have based their judgments on what has been taught so far this school year. If you do have any further questions, please do not hesitate to contact your child's teacher or myself after watching the video. So in year one, children are supported to talk about their writing and read their work aloud. There is obviously a huge emphasis on phonics and the common exception words, and children are supported to apply the sounds and simple spellings they focus on each week in their writing. Now, reading to your child is incredibly beneficial for writing at this stage of their school journey, as it will really broaden their vocabulary and further improve their understanding of written language. Here is an example of work which our year one teachers have judged as meeting expectations for this stage of the year. You can see that letters are formed mostly correctly and the majority of letters are the same size as one another. The child has also used appropriate spacing between the words that they've written. Now, the child will have rehearsed their sentences out loud to an adult in order to write clear sentences which make sense, and they've applied basic phonetic knowledge to the words they have written with very few errors. So moving on to year two. In year two, children should continue to talk about their writing and practice their sentences out loud to check for sense. There's also an expectation that children start to recognise mistakes in their writing and should, by the end of the year, independently correct using their knowledge of phonics and the dictionary to help with their spellings. Children should be spelling their common exception words correctly most of the time. If you need a list of these words, please see your child's teacher, though they are very easily accessible via the internet. As you can see from this example of writing, children now begin to add more detail in their writing in order to write from their own experiences, to form narratives and non-fiction writing. Now, at this stage of the year, children will mainly do this through expanded noun phrases, so sentences which describe, and by using adverbs to start their sentences. By the end of the year, they will be using words such as and, because, when, but, and so on in order to add more detail consistently. At this stage, children may not be writing cursively, but will be forming letters correctly pretty much all of the time, as well as having most letters of the same size. By the end of the year, many will start to write cursively as they move into year three, though this isn't an expectation for the end of this year group. By year three, in terms of spelling, there is a greater focus on the spelling rules as opposed to their phonics, and children are expected to refer to a dictionary independently in order to support them in this area. There is an even greater emphasis on how children can organise their writing, so they will start to use paragraphs and headings, and they should also start to add even more detail using conjunctions, so words such as because, when, while, and so on. Children will understand further how to write for a particular purpose and audience, so will therefore rely upon them having more of their own ideas and be able to apply their own experiences to help them. So here their knowledge of books and enthusiasm for reading really does help, as it will be what many will draw upon, even without knowing it, to support them. So in this piece, you can see that the child is now writing cursively, something we would expect to see for kind of this time of the year in year three. They've used a variety of sentences by applying the conjunctions in different places, so at the start of sentences and the middle of sentences, and also description. They've also shown that they can edit their work when they have checked it back independently. In year four, children build on what they have learned in year three in order to write further and to write with a lot more purpose. So they are expected to now think much more carefully and independently about when they apply particular features of writing in a wider variety of genres. They will do this by using a lot more complex punctuation, such as apostrophes and inverted commas for speech. And they will be expected to know when to apply these and identify when they're missing them if they go back and edit. As you can see from this piece, handwriting should now be consistently cursive. Writing has been organised into paragraphs. There's plenty of description, and it's been used in a variety of ways. And I think it's really noticeable that the vocabulary has really changed here. And this child's obviously drawn on what they've found from books. So again, reading really, really important. In year 5, again, children are building on what they have learned in order to take their writing that much further, and they will continue to write much more independently for a wider range of purposes. They will know how to organise their writing and move their writing on through a range of techniques, and they will make links between paragraphs. They should naturally be more ambitious with the vocabulary that they use, which in turn will require them to use much more complex spelling patterns and consistently use words which have prefixes and suffixes. Editing is now independent and they will have the opportunity to support others by providing feedback, which in turn will support them as a writer as well. They will really draw on phrases, vocabulary, and ideas from their books which they read. In this piece of writing, we can see a clear purpose, organisation, and depth to their writing. There is a huge amount of editing that has been done, which will mostly be done by them going back over their work independently, but also be done through the advice from peers and conversations with their teacher. At the end of Key Stage 2 and ultimately at the end of primary school, we see children as fully independent, confident writers who can apply the full range of punctuation and the devices that will allow them to choose whether they want their writing to be, for example, formal or informal, and again, to write for a range of purposes. Whilst what they are expected to be able to apply is similar to that in year 5, children should demonstrate a lot more cohesion, imagination in their writing, as well as be able to think carefully about the tone they choose, the structure of their writing, and the tenses that they apply to their writing. This is the year when we ultimately see everything they have learned so far come together. In this piece of writing, the child has clearly thought carefully about how they will move their story on, how they will create suspense and feelings in the reader, and organise their writing. They've applied the full range of punctuation, as well as tried to vary their sentences and the vocabulary that they have selected. I really hope this video has been useful in explaining the expectations we have here at Horizon in writing and not too overwhelming. A common theme throughout writing is the importance of reading and the impact it can have on your child's writing. I cannot stress this enough. But this is something you can easily do as a parent at home to support your child in this specific area of their learning, although reading does help with every single aspect of school. Encourage them to read, get them interested in specific authors or a series of books. In younger years, talk to them about words, teach them new vocabulary. In older years, don't presume that they know the meanings of words and challenge them on the meanings of words. We find quite often that children won't stop to find the meanings of words that they are reading. They'll just carry on reading even though they don't know what that word means. Please remember that we have Pobble where we publish children's work. And I just want to remind you about the Accelerated Reader Home Connect, which we launched a few months ago. It's a great way to easily see what your child is reading and how they've done on their latest quiz and when they actually took their latest quiz. Thank you so much for your time, and like I said at the start of the video, if you need any more guidance, please contact your child's teacher, or I am very happy to help myself as well. Thank you.